Hey, Bob Desmond here. Part 2 of gluing the back. Today is the Monday, the 8th of September, 2025. And I just wanted to show you my process here. I'm out of the picture. You'll see my hands and what I'm doing. I do use Titebond 1 for this because this is about a 15-minute process. I'm going to be applying glue all around, dabbing it with my finger, sanding the edge of the kerfing after doing so to create a little dust barrier which helps the glue squeeze out from squeezing out too much. I'm going to put on not a liberal amount of glue, but not a scarce amount either. I'm not worried if I get squeezed out, because if I do, I can clean it up just by going in the other side after the guitar back is on. And of course I'll be brushing it here with the glue brush. Most of it just dabbing my finger. This is the only place that I would really use a glue brush. I also, in my form, I stuff a little toilet paper in this crack by the heel cap area, by the heel, in case any glue squeeze out comes down, it doesn't glue the guitar into the form. And that's about it. I'm going to wet my brush. I always time it. I've got my glue clearing chisels right here to clear the glue with. I'll explain that as I go along. We're going to have a thunderstorm here, so if you hear a little rumbling in the background, that's why. Okay, it's 2:45 on Monday afternoon, and I like to time this. So I'm going to start gluing in about 30 seconds. So it'll be 14 minutes before 3. Once I start, there's no stopping. I've got the back all ready, and I'm ready to go right about now. So what we'll do is, I'm using Titebond. I put it along. I try not to get it in the kerf at this point. Oops. I'll go back up here. Okay, at this point, I will grab a wet rag and start daubing the glue all the way around the kerfing. And I want to do this, it minimizes the amount of glue that will go down in between the curved areas. So I'm just daubing it with my finger here. And I'm trying to go quickly. This is not a time where I lollygag too much. Go back up to the top. And for the first time ever, I'm doing this with one good eye. Any place that I think I have too much glue, I'll remove a little bit. Okay, that's my finger. Now I'm going to clean that and use my left hand. Now I'm going to check my work. And that looks pretty good. Now we're going to put some up here. I don't mind if it squeezes out here. The reason why I do the back first is I can clean it up. And when you look inside of a sound hole, you can see how nice and clean it looks. Okay, that's it for the brush. I'm going to plop that in water. Now I'm going to do each pocket. Okay, now I'm going to brush each pocket. Now I'm going to put a little bit on the end of each brace. You can't see it, it's out of the picture. And I'm just going to brush that a little tiny bit at the end of each brace, putting about 1/8 of an inch on from the end of the brace. Okay, double checking. I don't mind if I get squeeze out here. Okay, I'm pretty good with that. And I'm looking around here to see if there's anything that needs more glue. I'd like a little more up here where I started. Nice thing about Titebond is you have plenty of working time. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. And I'm gonna attach it now. So put the cap on the glue. No lollygagging. Here's the back. We're gonna put it right down in there. Make sure I get it in here properly. Sometimes it takes a second to line everything up. There it goes, dropping in and dropping in. Now we're going to check, make sure we're on the center line. I do that with a mirror. That one's fine. And this one looks like I want to just do a little tap this way. That looks good to me. All right, so now here's the back. Just gonna feel it here for a second. Put the wafer in. And we're gonna start at the waist. Just lightly at first. And double check my wafer here. Feels good. Bring those down a bit. We're doing this with only one eye. As some of you know, I have an eye problem. My right eye is not working very well. And unfortunately, I found out week before last that it may be permanent. So it's a new way of life for me. So you can see how my system is working here. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is put a clamp on the foot. I already have a block down below holding this whole thing together. This clamp is going to go right about there and pull that down. And we're going to pull down the tail block as well with a 4-inch clamp. There we go. Okay, and that's good. Okay, so we're going to keep going. Remember, plenty of working time with Titebond. You don't want to lollygag, certainly. I do try to work fast here. And I'm not concerned about glue squeeze out at this moment. But there will be a time in about 5 minutes where that'll be important to me. Now sometimes the wing nuts don't want to go on easily. And I work from the center out, as you can see. My left hand is holding the bottom block where I want it to be. Make sure it's centered on the wafer down below. There is a wafer, just like this one here. There's one underneath too. Distributing the clamping pressure on the spruce kerfing so not to break it or, you know, dent it or anything. Now these two rods are threaded, and there's a reason for these two being different. It's more for the top when I glue the top than the back, and I'll go into that later. You don't really need to know why right now. When I glue the top, I guess I will go into it a bit. When I glue the top, I don't have a clamp here holding the sound box in place. I have an internal clamp, but I don't have one on the outside. And I use those threaded rods. They hold the guitar exactly where it needs to be, so that should the internal clamp that I have when I glue the top on, should that slip or move a little, the two threaded clamps hold the guitar exactly where it needs to be, and it can't slip because of that. All right, putting on the last two here, and I might have to remove one of these cam clamps for a second. Let's see if I can get it to fit in there. Sometimes I can. There we go. Okay. So that's the easy part. Now comes the cleanup. And I won't bore you with all of that, but what I'm going to do right now is just go through all the clamps, make sure they're tight. I do put a lot of pressure on these, as much as my fingers can stand. And I usually put a glove on because you hurt your fingers a little bit. So here we go. This one's a little bit tricky. There we go. Okay, those two were done. Keep going around. This guitar back is never going to come off now. It's too late to move it. So it is what it is at this point. Okay. And let me double check my center lines. That looks fine. And that's right on the mark. Okay, so now you can't see this, but now I'm looking, I don't know if you can see my face down here, maybe. I'm going to actually widen it at this point. Let me widen the camera view. Okay. You see, yeah. So I'm just gonna widen it out, tilt up a little here, tilt up a lot. The main part is done. So, and we're recording. It's funny, once I did that, the entire camera looks a little crooked. There we go. Okay. So the glue is in the process of starting to dry now. And I don't know if I cut my head off or not, but nothing not that important. So the next step I do here, double check these. I didn't do them extremely tight. Looking down below, I would say at this point I'm visually inspecting everything, and I'm going to take a wooden chisel. Now I'll clean up the inside last, but I'm going to take a wooden chisel and go around the perimeter here with a wooden chisel and scrape the glue off. And I do have just a small amount of squeeze out. And now that I did all of this, I just remembered I forgot to do a step, but it's not the end of the world, and I'll explain that in a minute. There's a couple of big goobers by the heel cap. So I would say this would be the boring part. This takes more time than the actual gluing up, is cleaning up the squeeze out. I'll do it quickly here. It's interesting only being able to see with one eye. Okay, move this a little bit. I'll just try to get the gross stuff off. There really isn't much squeeze out, to be honest. But I like to see some, and I do. Okay. Now I'm going to just flip the guitar around. Threw my back out about 5 days ago, and it still hurts. Okay. And not as much glue squeeze out on this side, just slightly less. And the heel cap, it's easier on this side because I'm right-handed, and it's easier to get the glue clearing chisel in there. Okay. And we get a little bit down here. And just about done. Okay. Where'd that go? Okay. now we're going to flip the guitar over. I do like to go through these clamps one more time. Because as you compress the cork on the bottom, it does move a little bit. Okay, that part's done. We'll put the legs on. It's going to be a little higher now because I'm using the tall legs, so the camera angle might be a little bit lower. Interesting. Where's the fourth one? Oh, right here. Okay. Make room for this thing. Now I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to look inside. Okay, so you can't see this because you're up pretty high, but I'm looking at all of my important areas. See how the squeeze out's looking, and it looks pretty normal. There's nothing that's gross, so I will start cleaning that up. And I'm not going to bore you with that part. I will take these legs off because they're in my way. Now, after I clean up the inside, I will flip it back over and let gravity work. I'm checking the location of the clamp here, and it's right where I want it, and it looks good there. Everything's fitting. Now I think what I'll do is take the camera off the tripod real quick and just show you the squeeze out that I'm seeing. It's not much, but it's going to take a little time to clean up. So if you'll bear with me, it's going to be a little bumpy here for a minute. Okay. As an example, you can see the squeeze out that I'm going to be cleaning up along the foot there. Not so much in the lower bout, just a little bit. Underneath, I can't get the camera under there. And sort of over here. Okay, so with that, I'll just finish up this little video. This is how I glue my back. I'll let this sit overnight, and I'll take it out of the form tomorrow, but I will, with a chisel, incidentally, the overhang on the back is about 1/4 of an inch, maybe 3/16. So that'll have to be chiseled and routed off. I'll use a flush cutting router, and It rolls on a ball bearing, of course, on a bushing. But before I do that, I'll chisel as much off as I can. I like to get most of it off by hand. And then I'll chisel it in this form, and then I'll take it out of this form and put it in a different form and route it. Then I'll scrape a little bit and sand and put the guitar back in the form to glue the top. Okay? And that's my process of gluing the back. Bob Desmond checking out. Monday, the 8th of September, 2025. Hope you all have a great day.